The following is a presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Why, good evening, everybody. My name is Ron Juckett, and it's time for Game 2 of our Simulated American League Championship Series. If you did not follow our regular season full replay, the Baltimore Orioles and California Angels won our respective American League divisions, and the Orioles surprised a lot of people by beating California yesterday in Game 1. Mike Flanagan went the distance, and California couldn't string two hits together. The final score was 7-4. And so what we thought would be at least California having the advantage at home has disappeared. In fact, the entire momentum of the series has gone to Baltimore. And they got a bonus today. It was thought that Jim Palmer would not pitch until Baltimore got home in Game 3. He pitched on Sunday, the last day of the regular season. And so Earl Weaver thought that this would be the backstop. He'd have Palmer to do what he needed to do at home, maybe to clinch the series, certainly to give Baltimore the upper hand. Palmer went into the clubhouse this afternoon and said, "I think I can give you 120 pitches." And Earl said, "Sold." So Baltimore is going to go for the kill. It's Jim Palmer going for the Orioles. Other advantages. The Orioles have already done all the heavy work. They can do no worse than a split here in Anaheim. The bullpen is better than people think it is, and it's rested. Mike Flanagan went the complete game in Game 1. And with Palmer going today, when we resume on Saturday, it'll be Denny Martinez, either pitching for the pennant or pitching to give Baltimore a 2-1 lead, which gives Earl Weaver lots of options, because now with Palmer going today, if this series does go 5, Palmer's going to start Game 5. Plus now, Earl has the option of going with either Scotty McGregor or Mike Flanagan in Game 4. Pitching certainly a big advantage for the Orioles. It is not the case for the California Angels. There was lots of hemming and hawing after Mike Witt getting lit up yesterday afternoon. And tonight, he decided between Bruce Keeson and Ken Forrest. And he's going with the soft tosser Force to try to keep the Orioles off balance. Bullpen, however, has been safe for the most part. Luis Sanchez and Doug Corbett are there if the Angels get ahead, but they must get more than one hit in a row. They scored 4 runs on 3 homers and were held to 5 hits. And so, sometime between now and 8 o'clock tonight Eastern Time, someone could either be on the brink or going back 6-2 and even. What do you think it's going to be? Retro Sports Network presents the 1982 American League Championship Series tonight from Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. It's the American League East champion Baltimore Orioles and the American League West champion California Angels. And as always, our playoff coverage is presented by Patreon.com. Like what you've seen here on the channel? Throw me a tip at Patreon.com/RetroSportsNetwork. Or $10 gets you any game you want played in the Action PC realm. How about that? Alright, and we've got a good crowd on hand already. Appa Chatter, how are you? Baseball Demo is saying Weaver needs to leave his underwear photos to Palmer. Even that I don't want to see. And the Cavalry is indeed here. Hope you had a good day and ready for some playoff baseball tonight. So Baltimore, as I said in the open, did all the heavy lifting they needed to last night. And boy, what looked like a good pitching plan for the Angels coming in has kind of fallen to pot. The Orioles have the next 2 games mapped as far as starters are concerned, and then get the big boon of having Palmer to go if this goes the distance. So if we're ready, let's tell you about Kenny Forrest. Kenny made 35 starts in the regular season, went 18-8. If there is a savior for the Angels, this be it. He had a whip of 1.177 and an ERA of 3.07. So he certainly pitched well above his pay grade for California. He also made 4 starts against Baltimore, 28 innings, 30 hits, 18 runs, 17 earned. However, he walked 11 and struck out 4. He went 2-2 with a 5.46 ERA and a 2.78 average allowed. And that fastball tops out at 82. The lineup he'll face, it's pretty much the same one as he faced last night. Al Bunbury will lead off and play center field. Glenn Gulliver back at third. He went 1 for 4 last night. He'll bat second. Kenny Singleton is your DH. Can you imagine Baltimore scored 7 runs and didn't get a hit out of Eddie Murray cleaning up at first, or Cal Ripken at short batting 5th? Cal feels fine after turning that ankle. Disco Dan Ford feels fine after tweaking his hammy. He'll bat 6th and play right. John Lowenstein, it was his heroics at the plate and in the field that were so key for Baltimore. He'll bat 7th. Joe Nolan, the catcher, bats 8th, and Rich Dower at 2nd will bat 9th. Defensively, no changes for California except for 4. She is an 8 on the mound as far as fielding things, and you can see the rest of it. Appichatter got Palmer's autograph at the Crosby Pro-Am. Oh, cool! The kid in front of us gave Palmer a Sharpie and pulled the waistband of his undies where he was wearing and asked Palmer to sign it. He signed our program, and Palmer never batted an eye. So here we go. Al Bunbury went 4 for 5 in Game 1 with 2 RBI and a strikeout. Forsch needs to be consistent. Pitch to contact. And this one starts with a ground ball to Gritch by the bag at second, over to Carew, 1 away. And I forgot to set the Orioles back to the computer. Glenn Gulliver, 1 for 4 in the opener, singled and grounded into a double play. Oh, thanks, DC. Dave and I, Mr. Gardner and I, interviewed Craig Wessel from All-Star Lineup Baseball on our podcast, Digital to Dice. Mr. Gardner can put the link in the chat if he's still with us. Pitch from Forsch to Gulliver, ground ball to Gritch, over to Carew, and there's 2 out. For Kenny Singleton, who did go 1 for 4 with a single. So it's a start that California needed. And Baltimore's just not worried at all. Pitch to Singleton, popped up right side. Carew goes into this, watches it go over the dugout, and someone from Rancho Cucamonga makes the play, and the count is 3-2. So Forsch from the wind delivers, and there's a line drive right field, right in front of Reggie Jackson. That's a base hit. So the Orioles get a 2-out single for Eddie Murray, who went 0 for 4. Did not have a good opener. He struck out twice and grounded into a double play. A big day from him would just make California stop dreaming. Pitch to Murray, gets away from Boone, and Singleton moves into scoring position on the pass ball. So Baltimore, runner in scoring position, 1-2 the count to Murray. Forsch, already in a jam. Line drive to DeCinces to retire the side. So the Orioles get a hit and strand him. Half an inning down, Baltimore nothing. The Angels coming right up. And so Jim Palmer, much to the relief of Earl Weaver, is making the start. He went 16-12 in the regular year, and certainly the 3-time Cy Young Award winner knows how to pitch in postseason baseball games. His whip of 1.162 and his ERA matched his real number at 3.13. Against the Angels, he didn't win, but he pitched well. 14 1/3 innings and 2 starts, 11 hits, 5 runs all earned. He walked 8 and struck out 8. He went 0-2, but the Angels only hit 212 off him and had a 3.14 ERA. You're wondering who the save was against? Oakland. And this will be the lineup he'll face. Brian Downing will lead off and play left field. Rod Carew will bat second and play first. Doug DeCinces is at third. He'll bat third. Reggie Jackson again cleans up in right field. Don Baylor, the DH, will bat fifth. Freddie Lynn stays in center field. He'll bat sixth. Bobby Grich will bat seventh and play second. Bob Boone will catch and bat eighth. And Tim Foley at short will bat ninth. And Forsch, by the way, threw 22 pitches in the first. Exactly what Baltimore wanted. No changes defensively for Baltimore. And honestly, that is their best defensive lineup in the infield. Gulliver a 5, Ripken a 5, Dower a 3, and Murray a 10. Downing went 2 for 3 in game 1. He had a double and a home run. One of the 5 hits California had last night. Palmer, by the way, is an 8 range on the mound. Pitch to Downing, ground ball to Murray. Takes it to first himself, 1 out. Here brings up Rod Carew, who had a bad game 1. He needs to hit. He went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Palmer deals, and there's a chopper down to Murray. Second verse, same as the first, and there's 2 out. So Palmer has the first 2 on 7 pitches. Doug DeCinces went 0 for 4 last night. Palmer deals, and there's a little looper up the middle that's going to drop in front of... No! Bunbury made the catch. It wasn't considered a nice play, a great play, but Bunbury just kind of bent over and got it off the shoe tops. And so the Angels go down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. And 12 pitches from Palmer. After 1, no score. So Cal Ripken went 0 for 2 before he got hurt last night. Forsch starts the second with a fly ball to left. Downing in the corner, 1 away. Tomorrow at noon, join us to see if the Montreal Expos can win the National League. Steve Rogers, 24-game winner, Cy Young Award winner, against Fernando Valenzuela from Dodger Stadium at noon, right here on Retro Sports Network. Game 3 of the National League Championship Series. Johnny Smoke, how you doing live? Yep, you made it live. Dan Ford went 3 for 4 in game 1. 2 singles and a double. And scored twice. Forsch delivers. Little roller down to Foley. Throws it over to Carew for the out. That brings up John Lowenstein, who won't have to buy a beer when that plane lands back in Baltimore. 2 for 4. He tripled, homered, drove in 4 of the 7 runs, and scored twice. 2 out. Pitch from Forsch. Chopper foul right side and into the dugout. So the count is 0-2. Forsch deals, and there's a base hit up the middle. So Lowenstein, who struggled in the replay, has a hit tonight. Second hit for the Orioles. Now bring up Joe Nolan, who went 3 for 4 in the opener with 2 runs scored and an RBI. Pitch to Nolan. Fly ball left center field, but Lynn will have it to retire the side. A Chamber of Commerce night here at Disneyland. 79 degrees this October 7th with winds blowing out to center at 7 miles an hour. Gentle and mild, kind of like Earl Weaver's Chesterfields in the dugout. It'll be Reggie Jackson, Don Baylor, and Freddie Lynn to face Palmer here in the second. Jackson 0 for 3 in game 1, but he did walk and score a run. Palmer deals, popped up, right side, Murray, 1 away. It is exactly the Big A at Chatter. They made the renovations during the 1979 season for 1980 because the Rams moved from Memorial Coliseum, where ironically they're back now, to here, to the Big A, and they played in Anaheim from 1980 to 1994 before they left for St. Louis, or 1993, 94, before they left for St. Louis. And so they ripped down these outfield seats when the Rams moved and when Disney bought the team. Baylor, 2 for 4 in the opener. Again, double and a solo homer. Palmer's ready, and Baylor lines out one to Dower, 2 out. It used to be open in center, where you see that A and the Marlboro sign in left field. That's actually the second A. The original scoreboard was in left field. I remember that. And so, yes, it was open in center when the place opened in '66. And when the Rams left town, they tore most of what you see down. Freddie Lynn is at 1 for 4. He had the 2-run blast. And a strikeout. And this time he walks off of Palmer. So 2 out and 1 on for Bobby Grich, who went 0 for 3 in Game 1. Palmer delivers, and Grich is hit by the pitch. Got him in the midsection. Grich and Palmer, of course, used to be teammates. Bobby was with the Orioles for a long time in the 70s. So Palmer whispers over an apology, and Grich just nods. Here's Bob Boone. He went 0 for 3 in Game 1. Jim delivers, and Boone hits a little roller down to Murray, takes it to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. So no runs, no hits. The walk and the hit batsmen mean nothing after 2. It's Baltimore nothing, California nothing. So Dower, Bunbury, and Gulliver, top of the lineup, coming up for the birdies. Dower went 0 for 4 in Game 1. He grounded into a double play. Force starts to third with a base hit all the way to the wall in left center. Dower's gunning for 2, and he's got it. So that's the 3rd hit for Baltimore. And so through 9 batters, Ken Forge, 39 pitches, 2 innings, 3 hits, and nothing else. Al Bunbury is 0 for 1. If the computer bunts here, Earl's going to pass out. So the first run of the ball game is possibly on second base. Pitch to Bunbury, and there's a little nubber. Boone's going to throw to third. Bunbury did bunt. He throws to DeCinces. Boone threw to DeCinces to get the lead runner. And Earl is beside himself in the dugout. Bunbury's on. You can hear him yelling, "Who told you to do that? Who told you to do that? You weren't supposed to do that." But give credit to Bob Boone for throwing out the faster runner at third. So 1 out for Gulliver, who's 0 for 1. Earl is incensed, but Gulliver draws the walk. And so it may work out for Baltimore anyway. Kenny Singleton singled his first time up. Bunbury on second, Gulliver on first. Adapt, overcome, and improvise. I think Dave Gardner's giving the salute to Boy Scouts or something like that. Maybe it's be prepared. I don't know. Pitch to Singleton. Up the middle, right back to Force. Grich for 1, over to Carew. And they turn it. That's why he's in there. He induced the ground ball and got the double play. 1-6-3. After 2.5, still Baltimore nothing, California nothing. So it'll be Foley, Downing, and Carew. It's from a movie. Heartbreak Ridge, I believe. Okay. So Foley 0 for 3 in Game 1. Palmer cruising right along after 2. And the third starts with a ground ball to Gulliver over to Murray for the out. 1 away. Which AI is best for baseball? And how you doing, Larry? This one isn't bad. I mean, you can watch how it operates. I mean, I play against the computer every game. Most of it the visiting team. I think Strats is the hardest to set up. OOTP is pretty good, but it will make some funky decisions if you just let it manage itself. I think that about describes it. Baseball Demos would know. I'm not sure about replays because when I play replay, I usually play against my, I manage both teams. Brian Downing is 0 for 1, by the way. Jim Palmer threw 9 batters, 2 in the third innings, and a walk. 33 pitches. Efficient pitching from Palmer. Downing into left center. Back goes Bumber. He's running a long way and makes the catch against the track. 2 out. A long, loud out as that wind is now calmed down. It's just 3 miles an hour to center field. It's a Clint Eastwood line, okay? Rod Carew 0 for 1. 2 out. Palmer delivers, and there's a ground ball base hit. And so Carew reaches. First hit for the Angels comes with 2 out here in the bottom of the third. Doug DeCinces at the plate. He's 0 for 1. So Palmer will work from the stretch. And DeCinces rips this one to right field. Back goes Ford. He'll make the catch to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 3, it's still Baltimore nothing, California nothing. Yeah, I agree with Johnny. I think that they all make bad decisions at times. But Strats is pretty good. Depends on what experience you're looking for, too. Eddie Murray's 0 for 1 and now 0 for 5 in the series. Pitch from Forge, and Murray slaps out one to Carew. He'll underhand it to Kenny, and that is an out. So 1 away for Cal Ripken, who's 0 for 1. This one's getting tense early. The longer we go with no score, the bigger the stakes become. Pitch from Forge, and Ripken rips that one into right field in front of Jackson. Reggie should have had it. Cal's got himself a single, and that's the 4th hit for the Orioles. Brings up Dan Ford, who is 0 for 1. Force deals. Ford up the middle, right back to Kenny. Gritch for 1, Carew for 2. How about that? And for the second inning in a row, it's a 1-4-3 double play. And after 3.5, this one's moving fast, guys. Baltimore nothing, California nothing. So Reggie Jackson, Don Baylor, and Freddie Lynn to face Jim Palmer here in the bottom of the 4th. He may have to play small ball at some point. He'd have to do it with the bottom of the lineup. Jackson and Baylor, you don't want flopping around. Pitch to Reggie is a fly ball to right field. Ford goes back, but he makes the catch for the out. 1 away. It's good that Palmer and Forsh are on their games. No one will mock me. I mean, they all, yeah, you can. The thing with Action PC is that you can doctor whatever it is that you want. And you can get Super Hal to do what you want in Strat too. So it really depends on what your preferences are. Pitch to Baylor, who's 0 for 1. That goes into left field. Back goes Lowenstein to the track, and it's gone. So Don Baylor has hit his second home run of the series, this time down the line and left, and it's California who draws first blood. 1-0. Here it is again. There wasn't anything Lowenstein can do. All they could hope for was see if it hit where it went past the pole, and it went by fair. So Lynn is up with a walk. 1-0 Angels, and maybe, just maybe, a sigh of relief here for California. Pitch to Lynn is a liner into center field for a base hit, and that's the 3rd hit that Palmer's given up. Bobby Gritch reached on a hit by pitch his first time up. Yep. Fully agree, Johnny. Pitch to Gritch. Struck him out. So Palmer, who only struck out 103 in the real year, got Gritch to chase on a bad pitch on an 0-2 count. And so 2 out for Baboon, who was 0 for 1. It'll be Lowenstein, Nolan, and Dower for the Orioles in the 5th. Palmer deals, and Boone, little rubber down to Gulliver, throws it over to Murray. Boone doesn't have much for speed, and the side is retired. But first run of the ball game comes thanks to Don Baylor in a solo shot to left. After 4, California 1, Baltimore nothing. Earl is crying foul. He's still upset with Bunbury for bunting. Lowenstein is now 3 for 5 in the series. He singled his first time up. Forsch delivers. High fly ball to right, but that'll stay in the yard. Reggie has it tracked down, 1 away. Joe Nolan at the plate. Joe is 0 for 1. Forsch's pitch. And there's a ground ball to Gritch. Over to Carew. 2 out. I'm pretty happy with the AI in this game. I don't think I would have even attempted to do what we've done over the last 28 weeks if it wasn't. I mean, sometimes it'll make a head-scratching move, but sometimes I make a head-scratching move. You can't give the computer head and shoulders, though. Rich Dower doubled, by the way, his first time up. Pitch from Forsch is a little grounded down to second. Gritch, deep little flip over to Carew, and that will retire the side. So halfway home, no runs, no hits, no errors. We got ourselves a pitcher's duel. California 1, the Orioles nothing. And so pretty much this is the story of the ball game. Palmer made that one mistake to Baylor, and Forsch has done exactly what he's supposed to. Only 2 strikeouts, or only 1 strikeout in the game and 2 walks. As I take a drink, you can take a look at the in-game box score. The interesting thing is, especially when you do one where, kind of like this replay, where you just pick and, chose the better games or the better matchups to do. It's interesting trying to manage teams after either as played or bullpen usage, because you might want to use somebody and they've gone the last 3 days and they're tired. The amazing thing about this particular replay is that you'll see Steve Rogers and Fernando Valenzuela tomorrow at noon on Retro Sports Network. They and Jim Palmer all pitched the last day of the season. You would think that those would be opening season starting or series starting starters, but they weren't ready. Foley, by the way, is 0 for 1. Downing and Carew to follow as we start the bottom of the 5th. Pitch to Tim. Ground ball to Gulliver. Comes in. Long throw. Did they? Yes, they did. Got him. So Gulliver, who is the best defensive third baseman right now, made that pay. 1 out for Downing, who's 0 for 2. So Palmer, 64 pitches through 4 1/3 and 18 batters. 3 hits. The homer to Baylor, a walk and a strikeout. Yep, Mike Marshall is an outlier for sure. Appichatter keeping you updated with what's going on in real baseball. Pitch to Downing. Ground ball to Murray. Takes it to the bag himself for the out. So this one has kind of gone like you'd expect. Rod Carew, 1 for 2. 1 for 6 in the series. Palmer delivers. Ground ball to second. Dower behind the bag over to Murray. And that will get him. So Palmer gets the Angels in order in the 5th. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the top of the 6th. Kenny Forsch facing the top of the lineup. So through 18 batters, as Demo said, economical Forsch was the last 9 batters. 5 innings, 68 pitches, 4 hits and a walk. That's it. Bumbry's 0 for 2. And this one he rips into right field, but right at Reggie Jackson, who makes the catch, 1 away. Here's Gulliver. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. Todd B, we had your seats right there. Phil Regan, Johnny Smoke says, went 15-1 in 66. Got some saves, came in from behind, and lost the lead only to get the win when the Dodgers came back. But it's part of, I suppose, we'll talk about this in a minute. Here's the pitch to Gulliver. And there's a ground ball right back to Forsch. He only had an 8. Oh, and it gets away from Carew. And so the throw was high. I was about to compliment Forsch on the fact that he was fielding better than he should, but he makes the boo-boo, and Gulliver's on. 1 out for Singleton. Remember that thought. Pitch to Kenny. Popped up left side. Foley, no infield fly here, makes the catch. I think when we expect, because most times when we do a postseason series, or certainly the case, you listen to Mr. Gardner when you stream, you just want the best versus the best. So, Palmer would have gone game 1 for Baltimore. Probably Jeff's on for California, who may not pitch in this series, as a matter of fact. In the National League, you would have gone with Rogers and Valenzuela in Montreal. No questions about it. But you got to play around the restrictions, because the teams played around restrictions. Remember, Baltimore and Milwaukee fought right to the last day. Pitch to Murray is popped up to center field. Lynn will have it, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 5.5, California 1. The error does not hurt. Baltimore nothing. So DeCinces, Jackson, and Baylor to face Palmer here in the 6th. Doug is 0 for 2. Jim delivers, and there's a fly ball left center. Bumbry's there and makes the catch. So here's Reggie. He's not been Mr. October as of yet. 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 5 in the series. Palmer deals. Fouled back behind the plate, and the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Jameson, buddy, how are you? Super Mario Luigi, if you like Fortnite and such, give that channel a sub. Thanks, Johnny. Pitch to Reggie. Fly ball to right. Ford tracks it down in his Taurus for the 2nd out. Payoff pitch looks like a wonderful game, but it needs to be in a helper for me to play. Don Baylor doesn't need any help from me. He's got the lone run of the ball game. His homer in the 4th made it 1-0. Pitch from Palmer is another fly ball to left, but Lowenstein will keep that one in the yard, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 6, it's still 1-0 Angels. And so this one is now turned into a certified nail-biter. And for those Valley girls, just take off the press-on nails and bite what nature gave you. Cal Ripken is 1 for 2, one of the 4 Oriole hits. But Kenny Forsch has put out the fire that Baltimore put up last night. Cal, line drive to Foley for the out. Brings up Dan Ford, is 0 for 2. Yep, this one's moving fast. This one's moving fast. Forsch delivers, and Ford lines that one into right field. And so that's the 5th hit for Baltimore. And John Lowenstein, Game 1's hero, is up. He's got himself a single tonight. He's 1 for 2. Well, I could put 87 in the poll for next year. Pitch from Forsch. Lowenstein popped up right side. Gritch calls for it. 2 away for Joe Nolan, who is 0 for 2. No, and that's the thing with Stratomatic, Johnny. Johnny prefers to see the images on the cards. I mean, we're going to do a deep dive after this season's over. I've already looked at how the regular season stats played out. Let me just say that there really isn't any artificial limits on what a player can or can't do in this game, if that makes you feel any better. But no, looking over the options and knowing, that's what that board is, that green and white boxes on the left. At least gives you a prediction of what might happen. And for Joe Nolan, it's not good. Forrest delivers. Ford on first, ground ball, base hit. Predictomatic was wrong. Ford goes to third. Nolan is on first, and the Orioles got something cooking here in the 7th. Forrest takes one look at Mock in the dugout and says, "No, I'm staying in." Dower 1 for 2 with a double. And so the Orioles mounting a threat here in the top of the 7th. Pitch from Forge. Struck him out! He got him to swing and miss, and Forge gets out of the jam. Stretch time here in Anaheim. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. 6.5 in the books. It's the Angels 1, the Orioles nothing. The band asked me to play a little bit longer, but I'm still supposed to tell you about my Patreon account. You like what you see in the content, or have some suggestions, or want to have a special request for a game played? Patreon.com/RetroSportsNetwork gets you any game you want in Action PC for $10. Who's here that's a Patreon? Well, Baseball Demos. I know that. Is one, along with Al Red Sox fan, Dale Lonsdale, Bobby Cannavaro, other celebrities in the community such as John Marichich, Kirk Bertland, Dave Little. They've all given something to Patreon, and Baseball Demos loves to hate me, and so he made me play a Bob Stanley game. So patreon.com/RetroSportsNetwork. The band wants to play tequila, but I don't have the rights to that. Freddie, or maybe wants to drink some tequila. Freddie Lynn singled, by the way, and walked. He's 1 for 1. Palmer, 84 pitches as we start at the bottom of the 7th. And Lynn laces that one right to Bunbury in center field. So 1 out for Bobby Grich, who was hit by a pitch and struck out. There have been 2 strikeouts in this game. Just 2. That gets you about 2/3 of an inning in today's game. Pitch to Bobby, ball 4. Payoff looks pretty good. Inside has a PC version, Johnny. I don't know if you knew that or not. ID Jester did the Bo Jackson replay using Inside Pitch from '89. So Grich is on first for Boone, who's 0 for 2. And Boone will play some small ball. Bunt is down. Nolan throws to Ripken, covering second, and throws it away. Nolan throws it away. And so the small ball worked. They thought for the second that Grich would be out, but everybody's safe. And so Palmer just kind of looks at Nolan and slams the ball back in the glove. So Grich on second, Boone on first. For Tim Foley, who's 0 for 2. Oh, God. Like the Jeremy Guthrie game? I actually played that one in replay. It was disgusting. Yep. 7-0 Boston in the first. Well, we'll find a way to cough that one up. Pitch to Foley is a number foul third base side. And so now the count is 2-2, and Palmer could use his best friend right here. That or a strikeout. Foley. Ball 4. That's with a slam, huh? So Gretsch on third. Boone on second. Foley on first for Brian Downing. So Palmer, through 27 batters, 99 pitches, 6 1/3 innings, 3 hits, a homer. He has walked 3 and struck out 1. But now is 1 out. Infield play him for 2. Pitch to Downing. Well, it will be for Downing. It was 0 for 3. Palmer delivers, and he hit him. Palmer hit Downing in the midsection, and it's 2-0. It brings up Rod Carew, who is 1 for 3. So again, the Orioles defense wants 2. It's Boone on third, Foley on second. Remember, Boone reached on the bunt error, and Downing on first. Palmer, base hit left center. Boone will score. Foley will hold, and Earl looks around. We're going to make a decision here and come and get Palmer. The bullpen is fully rested. To Sensei Jackson and Baylor. And they're going to go with the rookie Mike Boddicker. And if you're wondering why I'm doing that, I'll show you the numbers. In 13 games, he went 3-0 with a save and a whip of 1.254. He struck out 22 in 22 1/3 innings. And went 2-0 with the save down the stretch. They are still loaded for Doug DeCinces, who is 0 for 3. 3-0 California. They've exploded for 2 here in the 7th. There's still only 1 out. Pitch to DeCinces, fly ball center field. Bunbury will have it tracked down. Foley's going to tag. Mock's going to send him. The throw goes into the infield, and it's 4-0 California. And slowly but surely, there are some deep breaths being taken by the Angels faithful. Reggie Jackson 0 for 3. Ground ball to Murray. Flips it to Boddicker, and that will retire the side. But the Angels get 3 runs on a hit and an error on the bunt. After 7 is now the Angels 4, Baltimore nothing. Oh yeah, you're right. So that would be Earl's definitely lighting up. And so now Bunbury, let's see how long they leave Forsh in. He's getting the fatigue warning. But the Angels, back of the Angels bullpen hasn't pitched yet. So Bunbury is 0 for 3. Through 27 batters, Kenny Forsh, 7 innings, 6 hits, so a walk and a strikeout. Pitch to Bunbury. Ground ball to Foley, way deep in the hole. Over to Carew for the out. No, I mean, Earl, they did the heavy lifting. They're going back. It's a best of 3. You get Denny Martinez in game 3, probably against Bruce Keeson. But the Angels got what they needed after the shaky start by Witt in game 1. Glenn Gulliver is 0 for 2 with a walk. And he rips that one into right field for a single. And so 1 on, and now the middle of the Oriole lineup needs to do something. Singleton is 1 for 3. He's 2 for 7 on the series. Hey, that's what friends are for, Todd. Pitch from Forsh. Up the middle again. Forsh, Gritch, Carew. It's the 3rd time tonight that the Angels have turned a double play, starting with Forsh, and he's going to get a chance to close this out. No runs, a hit, no errors. 7.5 in the books. California 4, Baltimore nothing. And so Boddicker Only threw 2 pitches. This is his game now. Baylor hit the solo shot down the line in the 4th to make it 1-0. Struck him out. He got him on a 1-2 change, and that's the first strikeout from Boddicker. Here's Freddie Lynn. He's 1 for 2. For the Orioles in the 9th, Murray, Ripken, and Ford. And Eddie Murray, who might win the American League MVP, is 0 for these playoffs. Lynn is not. He's 1 for 2. He is singled and walked. And ball 4 for Lynn. So Bobby Grich, who is 0 for 1, he has walked, struck out, and scored. Lynn leading off at first. Pitch to Grich. Ball 4. And Earl's not going to mess around. He's coming to get Boddicker. You didn't need the pen in Game 1. It's all fresh and new in Game 2. So it's Tippy Martinez. Playing the role of fireman. In the real year, he went 8-8 with 16 saves and a 3.41 ERA. In the replay, the computer didn't use him that much, only 44 times in 54 1/3 innings. 6-2, however, with 7 saves and an ERA of 1.49 and a whip of 1.104. Against the Angels, he went 4 2/3 innings in 4 games. 2 hits, 3 runs, and earned run. He walked 3 and struck out 2, and got a save. Now he's just trying to hold the lead at 4-0. Boone is 0 for 2. He scored a run. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to Ripken. Dower for 1 over to Murray. Does he got him? No. But they get the force at second. And there's 2 out for Tim Foley, who is 0 for 2. He has walked and scored. So Lynn goes to third. Boone goes to second. Johnny, I thought he was going to get that double play. Didn't get it. Pitch to Foley. Ground ball to Gulliver again. Long throw to Murray, and that will retire the side. So, no runs, no hits, no errors. Baltimore bullpen did a good job. Kenny Forrest will face Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken, and Dan Ford. As we go to the 9th, it's California 4, Baltimore 0. So tomorrow at noon, Game 3, the Expos and the Dodgers. Steve Rogers will try to pitch Montreal into the World Series as they lead 2-0 over the Dodgers, who won 107 games in the replay. Of course, the Expos won over 100 as well. Murray's 0 for 3, 0 for 7 in the series. He needs something right now if Baltimore's going to come back. Ground ball to first. Carew, 1 away. Cal Ripken, 1 for 3. By the way, it was Gene Autry who threw out the first pitch tonight, and Jimmy Reese who threw out the first pitch in Game 1. Ripken singled 1 for 3. Ground ball to Grich. Has to hurry to Carew. 2 out. And so Forsch is 1 out away from a complete game. Dan Ford, 1 for 3. The last chance for the Orioles. Lowenstein on deck. And Gary Renicke's going to pinch hit. So Earl rolling the dice here. Renicky at 270, 21 homers, and 74 RBI. Orioles stranded 6, the Angels 8. But the story of the game was that bunt that was misplayed by Joe Nolan. Pitch to Renicky. Ground ball up the middle. Grich with a diving stop over to Carew. And that will do. The Angels have evened the series. We're guaranteed 2 in Baltimore. California 4, Baltimore 0. And so I would bet you dollars to donuts that Rick Dempsey's going to catch Game 3. So if Ken Forsch holds the Orioles to 7 hits, 1 walk and 1 strikeout, Palmer pitched well, but you could tell on that 3 days rest he struggled in the 7th, and the Angels took advantage of some bad defense and have evened the series. No runs, 7 hits, an error for Baltimore, 4 runs, 4 hits, an error for California. Baltimore's hitting .309 in the first 2 games. California .155. So the Orioles bullpen between Boddicker and Martinez did their job. And Ken Forsch keeps the Angels, well, they've evened the series, a 7-hitter. He walked 1 and struck out 1. So Don Baylor with a homer, but Kenny Forsch is our MVP. And so I can't tell you what we're doing yet on Saturday, but you know that these 2 teams will play. But tomorrow, our next game, it'll be the Expos and the Dodgers. Montreal wins in Los Angeles. They are the National League champions. How about that? This one goes back to Baltimore. Game 3 will be sometime on Saturday. Time to be determined, depending on what happens with the Expos and the Dodgers. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe, and the bell when we go live, such as tomorrow at noon. Until then, I'm Ron Juckett. For Retro Sports Network, you have yourself a good night, and we'll talk to you the next time.